We are living in a new era of anime, and I don't know how I feel about it. See, around 2020, the medium experienced a major boom. Demon Slayer burst onto the scene, getting major hype from popular influencers like Ninja. Remember Ninja? Anyway, My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan were in their heydays, and shows like Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen were loading into the chamber, about to shoot their loads all over the general public. New fans were flooding the space, and Gen Z was discovering classic series for the first time between seasons of their current favorites. Also, it was 2020, and nobody had anything better to do. It was great. The world being shut down is the perfect experience for an anime fan. My job at the time was curating a list of classic anime to introduce to new fans and celebrate with old heads like myself, and that old-headedness has not gotten better with time. Speaking of time, they haven't changed. We're living in a post-major shonen world now. One Piece is the last great bastion of the most popular form of anime, and it's truly winding down. Demon Slayer is milking every sweet second of content it can, but there isn't much story left to tell. There is no unifying singular force in anime to truly bring everyone together anymore, and the zone has also been completely flooded. Every season there's more shows across more subgenres than ever before, and all of them are in a dick measuring competition to see who can come up with the longest, stupidest name. And I don't know about you, but lately I've been getting this feeling like, I don't know, there may be more important things going on than cartoons in the world. I know, it's weird, I can't seem to shake that. Almost like it's difficult to enjoy things lately. It's times like these where I throw an old DBZ VHS into my CRT, which is why I still have it. I build a blanket fort and whoa, dark thoughts. Look, I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that a cartoon is going to fix anything. But when I went back and reread this series, I remembered exactly why I fell in love with this stupid medium in the first place. So, let's talk about Dorohedoro and why it is everything right with anime. Speaking of things that refuse to be boring, this video is sponsored by Opera GX. Every default browser is a filler arc. Chrome, Edge, Safari, they all have no personality and no waifus, but Opera GX is different. It's got that main character energy that lets you customize it into whatever you want. You can choose from a range of styles, including Opera's very own anime mod, fit with background music, keyboard sounds, tab opening and closing sounds, full anime theming, color schemes, and more. Plus, you can enable and disable individual mods in the mods menu to get exactly what you want. Plus, there is a ton of other mods available in the GX store, so you can switch it up whenever you want. The animated wallpapers are a great way to personalize your browser's look, and Opera makes it super easy to switch from your old browser to theirs. Just go to the settings gear, synchronization, import bookmarks, and settings, import. We've been working with Opera GX for a long time now. I was a Google truther, but ever since our first sponsorship, I haven't gone back. I swear. So, stop browsing on bloated, boring browsers and get something that's cool and completely free. Link is in the description. And now, let's get to Dorohedoro. So when I found out that Dorohedoro Season 2 was actually a real thing and was actually happening, I decided to reread through the entire series. That's why some of it's missing back here and some of it's over here. I just grabbed these off my bed and put them in frame because that's how you do a cool YouTube video. At the time, we were already reading Q Hayashida's newest series, Died Arc, for our Patreon book club, so I was in the manga zone anyway, but revisiting Dorohedoro was something I really didn't know that I needed. You see, for the last 6 months, Tyler and I have been slowly pushing our way through this giant Yu-Gi-Oh video that we started writing in 2024, and it has been so overwhelming, it has made me genuinely start asking why I ever liked anime in the first place. And if you couple that with my genuine disinterest in most of the new series and seasons coming out, I found myself in a nice little existential spiral about my place in life and what I do here with you guys. But then, about 3 volumes in, it really hit me. Dorohedoro might be my favorite manga of all time. It's a very close toss-up with Berserk, but it is just that good. And I'm sure between the two series you can get an idea of my particular taste, but Dorohedoro is special in a very specific way, right? Berserk, for as insane and violent as it is instantly respectable from a literary standpoint. It has themes and lessons and real insights about the nature of humanity, evil, politics, consequence. It's an obvious work of genius. It's more than what is on the page. Dorohedoro, on the other hand, is idiot savant incarnate. It is the drooling moron in the back of the class that nobody liked and everybody was like, what the hell is wrong with that guy, who accidentally invented the cure to cancer by like farting on a gerbil or something. It is a series that truly does not give a flying fuck. If you go and watch our series retrospective on it, I think I really nailed the feeling of experiencing the story for the first time. But going through for a third time, you really begin to see all of the threads that Q started spinning from the very first chapter in the year of our Dark Lord 2000. Somehow, in a tale about a dude with a lizard head and an endless parade of completely deranged but absolutely lovable psychopaths, Q Hayashida made a world that is inescapably captivating, and a story, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, I still don't really know what this story is fucking about, but that's kind of the point. Sometimes things don't need to be profound to be transformational. Sometimes all you need to do is let all of your crazy out and have that be the lesson. In Dorohedoro, there's no good guys, there's no bad guys, nobody gets what they deserve. It's gross, it's violent, it's stupid, and it is perfect the way it is. Because it is a perfect example of perspective, you see. Morals, allegiances, they're all choices. Circumstances are unfair. We are all just rolling around in shit and poopy, and that is what Dorohedoro is about, which makes the fact that it succeeded in completing its 18-year run through 3 different manga magazines all that more impressive. It is a story that refused to die, and even when it had already done the impossible, it exceeded even that and got an anime 20 years after the publication of its first chapter, and then 6 years later, it got a second season, right? Like, okay, 2021 rolls around, we hadn't heard about season 2 yet, you know, there's a possibility maybe it's gonna happen, maybe, you know, whatever, but by 2024, I think most of us had just given up, but 2026, season 2 comes out, that's crazy. And now they have announced that season 3 is officially greenlit, and we're probably going to be getting it within the next year or so. And because of those facts, I truly believe that this entire series is going to be animated. The entirety of Dorohedoro, arguably the weirdest manga of all time, is going to be completely animated decades after it started. That's insane. Like, let me put that into perspective for you. You have these manga, and the studios know they're going to be hits, or they're already hits. They're making the front pages of Shonen Jump, etc., etc. They start animating those things immediately. That's why with shows like One Piece and Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, you get the filler in the anime, just all this filler. But they do that in order to keep the series alive. They do it so it's constantly in the conversation, so people don't forget about the manga. So new people coming in will go and read the manga and be like, okay, like what hasn't been animated yet, that kind of stuff. So for in 2020 at the time, a 20-year-old manga that, you know, wrapped up in 2018, so it had been done for 2 years, to get an anime is already very strange. For it to be this series that never even ran in Shonen Jump, right? It ran in 3 different like monthly magazines for 18 years. It's very, very strange. I just really want to hammer that home, okay? This is... Everything about this is absurd. Now, I am a classic anime nerd. I spend a lot of time delving into the most obscure, shitty anime OVAs I can find. I love them. I love the fact that these things got made. I think that's part of my fascination with them. And here's a list of what we've watched with our patrons to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. There is something magical to me about a world where somebody gave these films a budget, right? Like, especially back then when everything had to be hand-drawn. In the 80s and 90s, if you had an idea for an anime, it just got greenlit. Go for it. Do it. Put it out on VHS. And ironically, it kind of feels like that now, but the difference between these two time periods to me, is more or less everything new is available on streaming platforms instantly. Whereas back then, these insane OVAs were abandoned in the dusty back shelves of weird hobby shops and mom and pop rental stores. One way or another, you can find these crazy shows just as easily as you could find anything else on Crunchyroll or something like that. But in the olden days, if you will, you really had to go digging. And you had to go digging in very weird places. And even if you found something, it was unlikely that it was going to be translated into English. A lot of people, especially the guys who created Toonami, they found anime when they were living in Atlanta, and they would just grab stuff from Japanese stores and just watch it, having no idea what it was even about. But every once in a while, you would pop into one of these rental stores and find a truly obscure, just wild gem. And I bring this up because Dorohedoro feels like a show that belongs there and not on Netflix. It feels like it belongs in the sweatiest con-goers dick measuring contest about who's seen the most unheard of garbage. I mean, most people can't even pronounce the series' name. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but that's not the timeline we're in. We are in the timeline where something as insane as this series has managed to break into the mainstream anime conversation. Now, I think a big issue a lot of weeaboo boomers have with newer anime is the deep penetration of Western influence. There's a lot of pandering to Western audiences, and that leaves a bad taste in a lot of purists' mouths, and I get that. Now, younger fans might be like, oh, well, there's always been Western influence in anime. Like, look back to, the classics. You have the elves and the magic and the D&D type of stuff, and yes, that's true, but there was such a Japanese twist on these things that it still felt novel, at least. And even in the early 90s, when Shin Megami Tensei really changed the idea of what could be Japanese when it came to religion, the idea that Japan is a melting pot for religion specifically, and you started seeing in anime like a lot of Christian or Abrahamic religion iconography and stuff like that. It was still through this very kind of silly, almost innocent Japanese lens, right? Like, I'm assuming that they did not understand why so much of their shit got banned in the West, especially, all the Nintendo issues that happened in the 90s when it came to censoring any kind of religious imagery or anything like that. They were like, oh, what's the big deal? We just crucified somebody on an upside down cross. It's just a video game. But now things are different, and oftentimes they feel very Western and pandered to Westerners, and I get why that upsets people. I find myself balking at that sometimes, but then I remind myself of the growing insane Nazi nationalist movement taking hold in Japan and begin to feel deeply uncomfortable, because no matter what, it is inevitable that a small capitalist nation tied to the empirical power of the United States is going to be influenced by its audience with the most buying power, which, for the record, is not Japanese people. But with all that aside, I think part of what is so great about Dorohedoro specifically is that it is a show for absolutely nobody. It subverts everything. The story has basically no cultural ties. It's just what it is. And what it is gross and stupid and absolutely genius. But more than anything, it is a beacon of hope to me. It is the ultimate underdog story. We live in an increasingly commodified environment. Everything is a brand. Everyone is trying to market something by walking the same path in different shoes. Children are learning how to be social media moguls before they graduate high school. Like, they understand how to sell themselves as a marketing tool. Oh, my supplements are better than those ones. My meme coin will definitely make you a millionaire, and I definitely promise I won't rug pull you. You're ugly, you're unlikable, and I got your fix. You're gonna hear that all the time. And then there's Dorohedoro in the corner, blowing raspberries with cake smeared all over its face, succeeding. It may be demented, but it is just so authentic. And that's what we're missing right now, really. Like, when was the last time that you went online and were like, damn, I definitely don't feel like I'm being cheated or manipulated right now. And maybe it's the fact that generative AI has completely melted reality. Like, if you are regularly online at all, there is a 100% chance that you saw something you didn't believe happened that was actually real, and something you saw that you believed happened that was 100% fake. And the reason I say this is because if you are online a lot and you're not one of those monsters that constantly makes generative Ghibli art, you probably feel like you have a good handle on what is AI and what isn't AI. But myself, other friends of mine, and other people who are very aware of AI have been fooled. It is really getting to the point where it is just too good to always be seen through. But that's the thing about Dorohedoro. AI could never, in a million years, write something this genuinely deranged, but at the same time, completely purposeful. Because that's the thing. If you haven't read Dorohedoro, it is impossible to understand how every single moment in this series is a calculated pull towards the inevitable conclusion. It truly is a masterclass in mystery and subversion. Every single panel of that opening chapter is a piece to the entire mystery, sitting in plain sight in the first panel of a story that wouldn't pay it off for 18 years. All of those pieces start coming together, ironically, as Caiman starts coming apart during this season. Chapter 1, page 1, you meet a guy with a lizard head and zero memory of who he is, but he's really good at killing people with knives, and he has some weird red crosses over his eyes. The read you're supposed to have is, LOL, okay, gross fantasy world, weird guy, but he's pretty funny. I guess this show is just weird, moving on. It plays like a bit, like Q thought lizard head sounded cool at 3 a.m. and ran with it. It's not a bit. Because here's what's actually under there, and stay with me, is a kid named Coleman, a normal human from the hole who hated his life so much he surgically turned himself into a sorcerer and died basically the next day, and then got resurrected by the hole itself into a thing called Kai. Kai and Aikawa are two personalities sharing one body, and Aikawa was best friends with a sorcerer named Risu. Kai murders Risu to steal his curse magic, except Risu's magic doesn't die with him. It becomes Curse, a relentless entity that hunts Kai across the entire world and finally catches him, devouring his head in an alley. And at that exact moment, a 13-year-old black powder addict named Ebisu pops some steroids and uses her magic that turns people into lizards, and it lands on what's left of Kai. It gives him a lizard head. It also simultaneously traps Curse/Risu, the man inside his mouth. Plus, it wipes his memory, and all of this magic bullshit culminating together makes this body so magically constipated that no other magic can have any effect on him. That is the birth of Caiman, and all of those things that we are only now starting to get revealed in Season 2 are foreshadowed in the very first chapter. At first glance, it feels like Q was throwing slop at the wall, but she is actually laying the track for the entire story so masterfully, it is mind-blowing. And at the same time, I still cannot tell you what the fuck the story is about, because what it does is it presents you with a mystery. And then once that mystery is solved, all of a sudden there's a new mystery. It's just constantly leading you by the nose. At the end of Season 1, we were left on a major cliffhanger that you think would, be solved at the end of the story. But it's solved like in episode 1 of Season 2. And by the end of Season 2, you are left with a completely new mystery you never could have seen coming at the beginning of the season. And I think one of the things that's funny is that a story this calculated is supposed to pay out a meaning, a theme, or a lesson, and that's why hatred is a cycle. Roll credits, collect your literary respect. That's the deal. You do the work, you get the moral, and you can absolutely try to pin one on Dorohedoro. Friendships across the caste system, accepting every ugly part of yourself, cosmic karma, the literal sludge of millions of murdered people congealing into a god of pure resentment. It's all in there if you want it, but the second you try to nail one of those to the wall, it really just slides right off, because both worlds are lawless. Nobody's really good or evil. Nobody did anything truly right or wrong, and so the entire story is almost meaningless. But what I said at the beginning is still technically true. Your morals, your allegiances, what you choose to tie yourself to is a choice. Because I think the big point is that life is meaningless. But if life is completely meaningless, that also means that life is completely meaningful. It's just what you assign it to. The show even tells that to you. The rest is still in chaos. That is Dorohedoro. It builds this flawless machine, and the only thing the machine outputs is more Dorohedoro. So therefore, trying to dissect the meaning of Dorohedoro is missing the point of Dorohedoro. And I think that's what makes it so perfect for this moment. During a time when it feels like authenticity is being purposefully suppressed in order for capital to continue to accumulate in capital owners' hands, there's still these little rebellions breaking through and proving that you don't have to compromise in order to survive. And for me, that's part of what made me fall in love with anime in the first place. It was unapologetically Japanese, a window into the fantastical expression of a culture very different from my own. And despite that barrier, which I suppose these days could be compared to like Chinese politics in America, like I really do want to nail down how poorly anime was looked at socially in America in the 90s and early 2000s. It was almost like being a mouse stand, but also like a freaky pervert. Like there was a like weird sexual shame to enjoying anime that was really like pushed on people by bullies. Sometimes deserved. There's still some people that you should bully about their tastes in anime, to be honest with you about that, maybe. But regardless of all that, anime succeeded in laying a seedbed for its global future during arguably its most insane content cycle. So that's why I legitimately think Dorohedoro Season 2 is literally everything right about anime. It is continuation, it is a survival despite truly not fitting in. It's found an audience with people who would have never had a chance to experience it or would have outwardly rejected it if presented with the opportunity to experience it. And despite all of this, it continues to insist on its absolutely uncompromising nature. The anime itself is unconventional, to say the least. First off, it's one-to-one as it can be given the medium. It's not allowing itself to be abbreviated. Dorohedoro is going to tell its story no matter how nonsensical the moment-to-moment experience may seem. It's gonna have its gay-ass Birdman. It's gonna have muscle mommies mogging the shit out of every man in the show. It's going to be absolutely gnarly in its depictions of unimaginable wanton violence. It is going to gender bend and animate doppelganger dolls out of a pizza. It's going to censor the nipples for some absurd reason, even though it is one of the most R-rated anime I've ever seen. Decisions were made. And it is going to depict its upside down wonky ass reality the way it was supposed to, and it doesn't give a shit how anyone feels about it, and it's going to do it all with a widely hated animation style of kind of weird 3D with a strange frame rate. All of this is chaos, but it just works when it all comes together. I can't explain it. The fact that there are so many people who ended up liking the show, that's what blows my mind, because it literally showed up with arms open and said, here I am, fucking deal with it. And I don't know, maybe enough people got smacked in the face, liked it, and said, give me another one, daddy, please. But we need so much more of this. People taking chances on art and people taking chances on people. We need to have a little faith that we can make something we believe in happen and succeed despite all of the bullshit. Like, there are so many people out there like trying to mathematically prove that you are going to fail at everything in your entire life, but like sometimes math just is bullshit. You know, I think the best things that we have in life are things to look forward to, right? Like, I got a couple things. There's Persona 6, Persona 4 remake, that's looking pretty good. Ocarina of Time remake, I'm super excited about that. Stuff to look forward to, right? So, you know, even if you gotta eat nothing but rice and beans for the next couple of years until the global economy starts to get back on track, just remember, at least we're getting Dorohedoro Season 3.